can I just elaborate on the theme? Because I was very close to Chernobyl when the accident happened.
Yes.
And I noticed the change in my thyroid
Yes.
to this day.
Yes.
Because it's enlarged.
Yes.
When I swallow, you can see
Yes, I can see it. I've always seen it. I can see it by your
the
voice.
knot. Yeah. And the doctors were saying, oh, you probably have cancer of the throat. And I never believed it.
That's right.
I said, no, absolutely not. And I checked whether there are any changes, and I've lived with that for years, and I never felt that it was anything.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, because certainly, especially with cancer, the theme of cancer and radiation are that the cells of the body do not remember themselves. And so because you had awareness, you were there in Chernobyl, you were doing something in Russia, and so there was a sense inside you. That sense will always help the cells to remember, oh yeah, we are thyroid cells, we are throat cells, we are voice cells, we know who we are. Because it is that lack of recognition of self that brings on cancer.
And the
We
fear,
know that.
that fear.
And the terrible
If
fear.
I would have bought into what they said, then I would be living with this, let's cut it open, let's test it, you know.
Which is, yes, sometimes not the best thing. And I was there when they were washing down the streets, so I was there right afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, they were washing down the streets, they weren't allowing people to move anywhere, etc., etc.
They kept saying, you know, even in Germany, when I was in Germany afterwards, they kept saying, with Geiger counters, we can tell that the earth is contaminated.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can't eat venison because the deer are eating the grass. And
I saw frogs with extra legs. I saw cows with extra tits. I saw flowers that were twice the size of normal flowers. So definitely the radiation created a genetic change. So why should we not use that on its highest factor? No, again, simply it is the fear or the absence of awareness of the potentials we have around us. So thank you, that's great. Yes.
Interesting that you brought that up.
I was going to add that it's interesting in terms of radiant light that it depends on how it's created, because if you think about they're using plutonium and uranium to create that brilliance, but if they use other material or connected to it through like cosmic or photon light, then maybe we wouldn't experience that sense of cancer or the body going into genetic meltdown or something like that.
It's the same difference between synthetic vitamins and organic foods or any of those conversations. When we make something, we are as of yet unable to see it in its hologram. We could have used cosmic energy, as you're speaking of, or even the radiant energy from the earth and shifted it into something. But because we were focused on destruction, then that created the wobble, something that was a magnitude that was too much. But I always, and I spoke of it in one of my books, I was told that there was a group of monks at ground zero at Hiroshima. They never had any effect. So again, consciousness, being able to transmute, align with energy, all of these are available to all of us. And definitely, for example, there are people now that are using rocks that have a little natural radiation in them, and they're finding that they're healing cancer with these rocks. And so, again, it's the way that we come into alignment with the balance of Mother Nature that makes the difference between destruction and the balancing. Absolutely. What else?
What is the theme of thyroid disease?
Well, again, I would say in general, because it is in the throat, it has to do with visibility. Do we have the energy to stand forward and say, I am that I am, and here I am, and I'm going to enact something. I'm going to act upon the environment in which I exist. Communication, speaking the knowing that we have. Why have we all been working on the throat chakra because we are making that transformation into another octave of what it is to be human. Collective consciousness, and yet that capacity for something to come forward that is visible. And so, look at how it is. In the last 80 years or so, everyone smoked. First only men smoked. First only smoking was done in ceremony. Then men smoked. Then women began to smoke. Then everybody in diplomatic service or social events or anything like that, everyone smoked. And now we're having this conversation because when you smoke, the whole throat chakra goes dead. There's no vibration of life that comes from it. Nothing spins. And so we on this planet are coming into that time. That's the theme of the thyroid. Now, do you have enough energy? Are you filled enough with energy to give it off? Because that's what the thyroid's doing. It's extending out to all the other endocrine glands. It's extending out from itself. So can we feel the fullness, the power of that enough to radiate out? And that's the thyroid's job, to nourish everything around it, to stimulate it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And step forward. So we want to take care of our throat chakras. We really, really do. We want to take care of our thyroids, and it's so easy to do it. And it is amazing when you start testing for yourself and you start actually being able to say, well, this is what my thyroid is doing right now, because that's what your thyroid is doing. It's either taking up the iodine, which is its natural food, so that it can stimulate and heat up the metabolism, or it's not. And we can know minute by minute, hour by hour, the whole chain of command within our bodies, which is fantastic.